I would have done anything Kenny Ortega asked me to do because I think he's like the greatest. I mean, he did Newsies, Hocus Pocus. He's choreographed Michael Jackson for 14 years. Choreographed Dirty Dancing and Xanadu. Like all the coolest, he's the coolest. So at the time, I thought it was just another, like everybody did, we just thought it was another Disney Channel movie that was going to come and go. No, that was it.
Oh, and it did not come and go.
It did not. No, it did not. Yeah.
Welcome to The Lisa Show, where we take a good look at life. Hey, it's Lisa. I haven't introduced myself in a while, so in case you're new here, I'm Lisa Valentine Clark. I'm a writer, comedian, mother of 5, and solo parent, and specifically relevant to today's episode, I'm an actor. And I always say that sort of tongue-in-cheek because I really don't know how I got here. My degree is English. I started out as a teacher. Fast forward, I've done a few movies, commercials, and maybe the hardest acting job of all, pretending to agree with my children who think that they can convert me to liking video games. I don't want to play Mario Kart, but they just think that if they get me to play enough times, I will like it. And it's just not something that I care for, but it's so sweet that they keep trying that I just play along at this point. Life is weird, man. Acting has been a crazy whirlwind that also gave me a chance to make some really cool friends. Actually, that's probably the best part. Bart Johnson is one of those friends. You probably recognize him. He's done a bunch of stuff, super talented, and yes, he is Coach Bolton in High School Musical. Remember Troy's dad, who tried to keep him away from Gabriella and the musical theater because he needed to get the big basketball scholarship? That's my friend Bart. In a beautiful twist of irony, he actually does coach sports in real life as a volunteer. But unlike his character, he's very supportive of the arts, which makes sense. He's a full-time Hollywood actor, but it was so funny because even though we talked about High School Musical, of course, and you're going to hear some of that, some really cool stuff, you should have seen his eyes light up when I asked him about being a kid's soccer coach. So pull up a Ziploc of orange slices and prepare yourself for rapid-fire life lessons from a great coach. On screen and off, Bart Johnson.
Was this happening now?
Oh, yeah, this is happening.
Oh, my gosh, geez, all right, okay.
I mean, we'll edit this and me stumbling over all of this. But, instead
don't
of
edit anything. I love how you say stuff. It sounds great.
You're so nice. Well, instead of reading your resume, you've done all these amazing things. Like when somebody's like, nice to meet you, Bart. How do you introduce yourself?
I don't know. I don't really know. I mean, gosh, I'm not sure. I guess it depends where I'm at. I spent, for instance, I spent a lot of time coaching my kids' soccer teams. So a lot of times I'm like, so I'm like, it's part of my identity now, It's like, hey, coach.
That.
And I'm like, oh, so now I'm a coach to half the people live in Burbank in LA. And then the other, so I'll drive down the street and people are like, hey, coach. And I don't know if it's my Wildcats or if it's my soccer team. So that's kind of a fun thing. Well, I'm a dad. My favorite job in the whole entire world is being a dad, 3 kids.
I love that.
All redheads, so just little firecrackers.
Just so fun.
The best. And my wife's redhead, so, it's kind of it's easy to keep track of them. Gosh, Lisa, how do I describe I guess I don't ever describe myself. I was born. Let's start at the beginning, shall we?
Let's go back it up.
Let's back it up.
I love it. Let's get to know who you really are.
Maybe by the end of the podcast, I'll figure out how to introduce myself to people because I don't know. I didn't realize I was so bad at that. Who would have known? I was born in Hollywood, California, raised in Los Angeles till I was 14. And when I was 14 years old, my dad, who always wanted to be a cowboy, moved us up to Midway, Utah. And I went to high school at Wasatch and got beat up by the Cowboys up there. Long story.
Really?
Yeah, well, it was a different time back then.
Yeah, it was.
I had bleached hair, I was looking like Depeche Mode, and it was that was not cool for cowboys. So they welcomed me with some fists in the face.
With a little 1-2.
Yeah, but I loved it. I totally loved it. It was a great experience in my life living up here in Utah and became an avid skier and all that kind of stuff. And one night I was driving home and I fell asleep and I rolled my car. And I have this big scar on my elbow here that I can't show you. You just got to believe me because
I believe you.
But I got the acting bug in high school. I did all the school plays up there, and I remember doing West Side Story. Did the Officer Krupke song in West Side Story, which was a really fun song. And I remember this guy, Big Al, Alden Bluth. He came backstage. He goes, Bart, you could do this. You could do this for a living. And I was like, is that what? Can I do? That seemed ridiculous. And then post mission, I go visit my mom on the set of Newsies. You know, the Newsies, the musical.
Yeah, everyone knows that.
Yeah. So now, by this time, I'm doing a bunch of theater, and I went and visited her, and I meet the cast. She was the hairstylist. She'd been working with Kenny Ortega for a while. And I met the cast, and I meet Christian Bale and David Moscow and Ellie Keats, and they're like all my age, and they're like, got the coolest job in the world. And I was like, hang on a second. And I started hanging out with Ellie Keats while we were shooting. So that like really kind of got under my skin while I seeing like these young professionals like having real careers as actors. So when I got back to Utah, that's when all that happened. I'm doing theater up here and rolled the car, and I'd done a guest star on this TV show that came through town. Anyway, it just kind of all like the stars aligned, and this guy, Don Harvey, he went to Yale School of Drama, and he's up here doing this cool TV show, and he said, hey man, you're great in this show. I've got a room for rent at my house in Echo Park in LA, and we're doing this play in Santa Monica. Why don't you come down and do this play with us? So I was like, okay, opportunity knocks. So I packed up my car, and my parents said, you can't be a successful actor without a degree. You have to go to college. And I was like, I'm pretty sure that's not how it works. Is that really? I don't remember that thing. So they tried their best, but I broke their hearts, and I just so disappointed them. And I went to LA, and I didn't know anybody. I didn't have any contacts. I didn't know a soul in the business, really.
Did you just then what gave you the guts just to go for it and say, I know this is what you want me to do, parents, college degree, great idea, but I'm going to do this?
I don't know what I was thinking, really. I was so confident, though. Like, I had all the confidence in the world, and I just loved it. I loved everything about it. I loved being on set, the movie life. I loved theater. I loved doing shows. I loved performing, like all that stuff, but I also really loved movies. Like, I'm just obsessed about movies. I could hang out on set. I still like that. Like, after all these years, like 30 whatever years later.
Yeah, you're not sick of it.
No, and like when I rap, they say, Bart, you can go home now. I'm like, can I hang out?
What are you guys doing?
Yeah. Can I operate the camera on this? They love it when they let me operate the camera. It's the best.
Oh my gosh.
Stuff you get away with when you're one of the actors,
Yeah, they love that.
Oh, they love it. No, I try not to overstep my bounds. I probably get a little obnoxious sometimes. But I just loved it. And I was super confident. I don't know why I don't know where that came from. But
just don't you look back on that now, like as an adult where you are, and you realize you have more life experience where you're like, life is so precarious, and wow, I can't believe I just did that.
Yeah.
Like, good for you.
No, for real. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because I just didn't have any contacts at all. I didn't know anybody.
But you got a manager.
It's my mom did Mork and Mindy. She was a hairstylist in Mork and Mindy.
That's so cool.
So she's going.
You should lead with that when you introduce yourself.
I know, it's cool.
My mom worked on Mork and Mindy.
I know. I remember doing the Nanu shake with Mork with Robin Williams in his costume and being like, he's cool. This is the best. He was so nice to everybody. He was the best. And when I went to LA, my mom said, I got one phone number for you. It was Pam Dauber, who played Mindy on Mork and Mindy. And so I called Pam Dauber. And I said, hey, you probably don't remember me, but I was 5 years old on your show. And she's like, of course. She stayed in touch with my mom. She says, my mom was her hairstylist. So she said, I know one manager. He takes young talent and develops people. His name's Terrence Hines. I'll set you up a meeting. I said, oh, God, I love it. So I go to Terrence Hines. I do a monologue. I sit on his floor. I cry. And he signed me on the spot. He said, don't go see anybody else. I want you to sign this contract. He set me up with an agent, and I started auditioning. And I get my very first job. This is where I'm going. I'll end of the story here. Totally. I get my very first job as an actor. It's a small part on a big movie called Mi Familia. Francis Ford Coppola produced it, which is incredible. And J-Lo was in it before she was J-Lo. It's Esai Morales and Edward James Olmos. A really cool cast. And I meet my father-in-law, Well, I meet a guy named Ernie Lively, this other actor, and he says, I want you to meet my daughter. He's this big gruff guy. I was like, oh heck no, dude, because I was not expecting much on the other end. But anyway, he asked me what I want to do for a living, and I said, well, I want to. Well, what do you mean? I would be an actor. He's like, how are you going to pay your bills? I'm like, I'm doing it. And he's like, okay, kid, but like this month, like how are you going to pay? And I was like, well, I would like to teach acting class to kids. And he said, well, I have an acting class school. Why don't you come by and I'll try you out. Come by on Saturday. So I'm like, okay. I go by on Saturday to go teach class. Blake Lively's in his class. That's his daughter. She was like 7 years old. And the class went great. And he's like, you got a job. So I started teaching class every Saturday. And then about 2 months later, in walks his daughter, Robin Lively. And I said, oh my gosh, I'm going to marry her. And I know that kind of sounds like a BYU thing to say, I think. But it's like, I've never said, I swear, promise, I never said it before. But when you know. And I was like, I'm going to marry her. I told my family, I told my friends, I told everyone. She didn't know who I was. She couldn't care less who I was. And it was like 2.5 years of stalking her before she realized
Really?
I had a name. Yeah, no, honestly, it really was. It really was. But anyway, that's the quick,
I love
long
that
version of that.
It's a
short
quick,
story.
long version, but there's so much in it. Okay, so I want to go back to this idea of confidence and knowing what you want to do. Something that I have observed in like raising my kids and just in working with young adults is that it seems to me, and this could be just my perspective, that kids today, which
Let's
I know
talk about
real
that.
like,
We both have a good couple of parents here.
yeah, couple
We
of
know what we're
seasoned
talking
parents
about.
here don't have that kind of like, yeah, I'm just going to go do it kind of attitude. And I find that it is very helpful, whether things work out for you or not, it can serve you well in your life. I have found that is a core like principle. How do you communicate that to, if you're coaching soccer or you're being a dad, how do you communicate, hey, you got to believe in yourself and go for what you want in a way that resonates with them?
That's you're in my wheelhouse now. I love this subject. I think it's amazing. So, in the 14 years I've been teaching, or coaching soccer, volunteer. I'm just a volunteer, amateur. But I've realized that in team sports, there's a million life lessons in team sports.
Right.
But only if someone's there to point them out. Because the kids are not, the stories are just passing you by. But if you can get the kids' attention, sit down, guys, there's a lesson here. Like, let's focus, let's learn from this loss.
Yes.
Like, look how, and we kind of explore this and get these like deep conversations. And I'm hoping some of it like penetrates into their brains. But it's a great opportunity to learn about your mental game. When you start losing a game and you have that locker room talk, the halftime talk.
Oh, yeah.
And you see that they're defeated. And I was like, how do you think you're going to play the second half with your mental game like this? Like, you're defeated. Like, your confidence is gone. You got to have that mental game peak. There's a lot of things you can't control, but you can come out with a 10 out of 10. You could be a level 10 with that confidence and know where you're going, know what you want to do, feeling good about it. Like, if you feel great, you're going to play great. If you feel amazing, you're going to play amazing. You're not going to like feel crappy, but somehow play amazing. And you see it, I think you see it like so much in soccer, especially because the score doesn't always, it's not always like the score doesn't really represent the game always.
No, and it doesn't represent because it's such a low point scoring game. It doesn't always reflect like effort. Yes.
Right. So you really have to watch the game, and you can't judge the game on the points. And sometimes you can't really judge a single game on the win or loss.
Tell me more. Tell me more about that, because I feel like there's a huge life lesson in this.
There's a huge life lesson
about perspective.
Yeah, like let's use the opposite. Basketball. It's such a high scoring game.
Oh yeah.
That the score really reflects how you play the whole entire game. But in soccer, the whole entire game could be won or lost by one lucky point. Like, you let your defense down one time, and it could be, I guess maybe the same could be said about a really close basketball game, but you could outplay a game, you could outplay a team the whole entire game and still lose.
Yes.
But if you know what you're looking for and you're watching, like, okay, well, it doesn't matter. Like, we are so good. We're playing so well. Like, we're so together, so connected. Like, overall, we're going to kill in the season. And that you just have to know, like, you take your loss and say, you got to shrug it off. You got to let it beat your mental game.
Yeah.
And there you go. There goes the mental game comes into play there. Like, we lost. And then how much is that going to get you down? How much are you going to beat yourself up about that?
Yeah.
And so I kind of get into this a lot, and I bring it right into my kids. What do you say when you talk to yourself? What are you going to say when you walk off that that field? Like, how long does it take you to get back up to that strong mental game where you're really confident? Because when you're like you feel so good about yourself, you're going to take more chances. You're going to play harder. You're going to burn this guy. You're going to go after that ball a little bit more. You're going to go try to win those 50-50 balls where you might not go after 50-50 ball, if your confidence is low. So I think there's like those life lessons, they just go right into real life.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Okay, so you're coaching a game with these kids and you can tell they're not feeling it. They're getting beat on the field. They feel discouraged and hopeful. And you talk to them about like a strong mental game. If this is something totally foreign to them, then how do you communicate that? Like, you got to change what you're saying in your head. How do you get them to do that?
Well, that's actually a terrific point, because I don't think there's anything you can say in that moment to make a huge, massive impact.
Really?
I don't think and so I look at those things and say, this isn't a one-time speech. This isn't like, I'm going to kill him with this speech. No, this is a campaign. I've got all season long to teach them how to work on that mental game and remind them and point out, look at this and look at that. Now look at this. Let's analyze how you played the first half. The game's over. How'd you play that second half? And like really, really get them to start really thinking. So it kind of opens up that opportunity to really point out. Then you've earned the right, like towards the end of the season, if they're down. Now I could give a halftime speech that has some impact, and they really like, I get it. I could see it now. So I think, and maybe that's a life lesson for parents too. Like,
I do think so.
A quick correct on the kids. I mean, how often does that happen?
Right.
It's a campaign.
Knock it off.
No,
it doesn't work as much as like, I'm on your team.
Yeah. So like a campaign, like, think about if you want to make an impact on someone, it has to be a campaign. You have to be consistent. You have to be patient. You have to work a long time on this thing. And then over the course of time, if you're effective, you'll see some good change. So that's how I've done it.
That's good. That long game, that's harder.
Yeah, that's true.
But more effective.
Yeah, way more effective if you're committed to results. If you really want to get the results, then you're willing to do that long. I've talked to some people that are like having a problem with their family or their siblings or something. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I'm going to just write this email. I'm going to send this text. I'm going to work on it, but it's going to be a doozy. It's going to be a zinger. I'm going to really it's going to change. And I'm like, look, nothing's going to change. Like the most perfectly penned email or the most precise, bold, whatever text is not going to do nothing. It's got to be the campaign. It's got to be a conversation. They got to open up. They got to trust you. You got to listen to each other. It's like, like any good, healthy relationship, I guess things take time.
It does. It takes time. I remember my sister telling me once that somebody had really offended her, and so she wrote a letter.
Oh, yeah.
She wrote a letter front and back.
Yes.
6 pages, and she got it out, and she said what she wanted, and she took it to her husband, and she was like, look what I did, and I'm going to mail this letter to this person. And he was like, that's awesome. You could mail that letter and be right, or you could fold that letter, put it in your drawer, and maintain a relationship with that person. And you get to choose. She was like, oh, I hate that you're right. And that letter is in her drawer.
Yeah. In that situation, I always say, like, look, if it makes you feel better, great. But if you're expecting a result from it, don't send it.
Yeah.
And unless it's somebody that you really want to get into the weeds with and work, spend a few years digging in the, like, I want to really connect with this. But you got your own family, your own kids.
Yeah.
And how much time you got?
It's a lot. I know, right? And where are you going to put your energies in it?
Yeah.
So have you maintained this kind of attitude in this long game, like for yourself over a career that is quite difficult? Like when someone says, like you and I did a movie together, like we kind of, I do this like kind of on the side. You're doing it like full time. It's not for the faint of heart. It's not consistent. It's not reliable. How do you maintain that kind of like positivity and long game of just sort of encouragement for yourself? Who does that for you, or do you do that internally?
By the way, we did do a movie together.
We did.
We haven't really talked about that,
No.
But it's fun
really
to say.
fun.
Like, we did a picture together in Hawaii a few years ago.
My favorite part is when we were shooting outside of this like gorgeous, ridiculous mansion.
That house on the North Shore.
I know, and it was like an open landscape. So, and we're having this gorgeous sushi dinner, and like you and I are just having a conversation. We forget like we're in a movie or whatever, and you're like, "Are you going to eat that? Are you going to eat that?" And you ate all my sushi. It was so funny.
Was it in the scene? Like cameras are rolling?
We had a good time. That's my point. And then it ends up being like that scene is just like a montage, but it's just you and me just shoving sushi in our mouth. We're like, oh, we need a reset there. That was so fun.
That's so good. I love eating good food in a movie because they have to keep bringing it out. I was like, yes, life hack.
I was like, I got to pace myself. I can't keep up with this guy.
I want to get in trouble here as well. I want to be so stuffed.
Fun. But you have this joy, like what you described at the beginning of our conversation of like, I just love movies. I just want to be a part of it. I just want to be on set. I can. That is 100% true from my perspective, having been on some sets with you. Like you just love it, and you have that and you're not faking it. This is who you really are. How do you maintain that?
Like through all the rejection and well, this first of all, I should say
through all of it,
as
COVID,
you know,
the industry changing. Acting is just asking to be judged over and over again.
Yeah. It's a game
personal.
of rejection.
Yes.
And it is personal. It's funny. I'm talking to a buddy of mine who's in a sort of a sales kind of position, but it's like you're going to sell on yourself. So they're looking at your face going, no, not you. I don't like how you look.
Anyone but you. You're like, ooh, sorry.
You're not pretty enough.
Right. And you're just like, I don't want it. But I want it really badly.
Yeah. No, you're not talented enough. No, it's funny you should say it because literally on the way over here, my agent called and said, check your email. And I'm like, oh, I'm so excited because I've been up for these couple of these jobs. I was up for this like, series regular job on this new Yellowstone show called Why Marshals. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've been so excited about this. And I look up the email. It says, you can remove the pin from Bart. I'm like, oh, you didn't give me a heads up.
Agent tell you check your email.
Check your email. I go,
say it like nicer, but it's not the industry. But you know what? Like 15 minutes later after reading that email, we're laughing about it.
That's true. You gotta laugh about. I mean, I heard this greatest quote. Like 10 years from now, you're gonna be laughing about this. So why wait? It's it's so much easier to.
I always say if I write another book, that the title is going to be "It Wasn't Funny at the Time," all about tragedy and triumph, whatever that means. And if you just wait long enough, anything, pretty much anything, maybe one or two things, no, but pretty much anything can be kind of funny.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you're losing your home and don't have a mortgage payment. It's a rough business. It really is a rough industry. I just saw the statistic that says 97% of actors in the union. They're paying their union. They're paying their SAG dues. Make less than $12,000 a year. So they have obviously everybody has second jobs.
97%.
Yeah.
Ooh, I didn't realize it was that high.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. It's an industry then where if you say I'm a full-time professional actor, you are not making a livable wage.
Yeah. And then you go to LA and it's not a joke. It's like literally there's 1 million people. Try to be actors in LA, in a city of 14 million people. Every restaurant, every waiter, everybody, anywhere you go in LA, and they're trained, and they're from New York, and I trained in London, and these are people that have made great sacrifices, really well prepared, and everybody wants that job that you're up for. So the competition's nuts. It is a little crazy. I'm talking myself out of my job. Maybe I shouldn't be. What am I doing?
But you do more than one thing, and that was another thing that I wanted to ask you about not being able to sort of be an all or nothing kind of person. And have you always been like that, or why? What drew you to that?
Well, I really make my living as an actor. But what I've noticed is, I made my first movie. The year I made my first movie as a writer-director, I got High School Musical. And why? Well, why would that happen? Why when I'm so busy and don't have time for something, I get this big job? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And something about it makes a lot of sense. It's like as soon as you start doing something creative and writing and directing or creating your own project, things just happen. I don't know I don't know how to put a finger on that, but it's like something about the energy you're creating, or you're excited about something else that's a lateral kind of energy, or I don't know what it is, but it's just things kind of happen. And then it's like, I was so excited about that movie. I was like, I really don't care about these jobs. I couldn't care less about these jobs. I know this is going to be an amazing thing that's going to blow away these other jobs. And so it's just I don't know. They just come. It's a weird thing.
That's so interesting. Of all of the jobs that you've done, what has been, and maybe I shouldn't ask you this, so of course I'm going to.
Yeah, you
but
should.
What have been your favorite, most meaningful projects that you've ever done? Maybe something that you were surprised by, or a project that changed you in a way that you weren't anticipating? Because I think with art, there's always this like sort of like element that we can't really like plan for.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you say surprise, it has to be High School Musical. That was like the biggest surprise.
Yeah, that's true.
For I mean, what a shocker. When I took the job, I thought it was just a little movie I was going to do for the summer that I got to work with Kenny Ortega.
True.
I mean, when he called me and asked me to audition for this thing, he said it was a little Disney Channel movie. It didn't have a name yet. They're just calling it High School Musical until they come up with a name. And it was going to be just a little movie that no one was going to see, but it was going to be really fun. And we're going to go to Utah. And he goes, I know you love Utah. And I said, you're right. Let's do it. First of all, I would have done anything Kenny Ortega asked me to do because I think he's like the greatest. I mean, he did Newsies, Hocus Pocus. He's choreographed Michael Jackson for 14 years, choreographed Dirty Dancing and Xanadu. Like all the coolest, like he's the coolest. So I would have said yes to anything. But this little movie came along, and I'm like, I get to do a movie, hang out with Kenny in Utah? Like, come on, let's go. So at the time, I thought it was just another, like everybody did, we just thought it was another Disney Channel movie that was going to come and go. No, that was it.
Oh, and it did not come and go.
It did not. No, it did not. Yeah.
And what's so funny now is I got to be friends sort of later. And when we're out, with a group of friends or doing stuff like that, hey, Coach.
Yeah.
Everywhere we go.
Yeah. No, it's
the longevity of it is a different sort of thing for an actor.
And I'm so grateful. Like I have a deeper sense of gratitude because the fans it hits different. When I had other shows, like people that watch the show, they're like, I love that show, man. It's awesome. That's cool. I love it. Hey, that one scene where whatever. They have something fun to say about it. And I love that. It's awesome. This is different though, because people, they start their sentence so many times with like, you don't understand. Coach, let me tell you something. And then I'm just like, bring it on. I want to hear this stuff. Let me hear it. And I just hear the greatest stories of like when we were a kid, we got together and we do this and this, or sometimes really serious. Like I didn't know who I was. And I had oh my gosh, man, they're struggling with some stuff. And like, and I didn't have a good home life. I didn't have parents. And I didn't, my parents were really like abusive. And then like get emotional with you, like it's brought me like hope and like joy and like the songs they resonate and made me feel loved and connected. Just like, oh my gosh, I literally I'm crying on the sidewalk talking to somebody.
Yeah,
they've been so nice to me. I do some silly thing on social media and I should be mocked for it or made fun of, and they're not. They're like, let's go, Coach. Like they're so kind. It's like. I figure like all famous people must have like 10% of their messages are going to be hate. Like that's just a general rule, I think, maybe.
Sure.
Like get that in your head.
For some, more than that.
Some, I think, definitely a lot more of that. Or if they really like you, maybe a little less. But I swear, I feel like I'm at like 99.9%. Just like the nicest comments. It's so nice.
You've created this big momentum on social media of positivity for that. And I've seen like sometimes like you give pep talks to your Wildcats or like you're just like encouragement and things like that. And you've created a community for that. What does that mean to you personally?
Man, it means everything to me. I mean, if I have anyone's ear and I could make any kind of impact, it makes me feel so good to say something. And then sometimes nobody responds. Like I'll get a 0 response. And then someone will comment to me in person and go, man, you did those, like during COVID when you did like, we're all in this together Thursdays or whatever. I was doing this thing where I was like, hey, how's everybody doing? Like, how's everybody getting by? You okay? Or, and that, I think that's when it started.
Those.
Oh, did you? See,
listen, COVID was the worst for me. The worst,
yeah.
Like, it was horrible. And just being able to see, my friends or be able to have any sort of encouragement, I just drank it up. I hate to put you on the spot, but I'm going to. The beginning of the year is kind of emotional because I think, oh, what have I done last year? Where am I going to go this year? And okay, I got to, keep my head in the game kind of thing.
You do. Yes.
Could you give a little mini cameo to the Lisa Show listeners?
I would love to.
I would love that.
It's so easy for me. I could do that. Can I take the next hour?
Yeah.
Well, okay. This is what I would say. It's like you have. There's a whole variety of things you could be thinking about. Something my dad always told me. He always said, "Stand guard the portal of your mind," and I've been thinking about that for 20 years. Like, what does that mean? Stand guard the portal of your mind. Well, I always imagine there's a portal like up at my temple for some reason, and that's where stuff goes in my brain. And I gotta be vigilant, man. I gotta be standing guard. I gotta be real careful what I let swim around in that beautiful brain of ours, And so, like you're saying, you're thinking about your next year, and if you start thinking about what they say, you think about your past, you have depression. You think about your future, you have anxiety. You think about your present, you have a present. So, if you're standing guard, there's no point in thinking about the past. There's no thinking about the future. You got to think about right now. What can I do today? What am I doing today? You don't let negativity, doubt, fear. No, it's going to happen. You're going to think about those things. You're going to swim around there, but you got to limit the time. Okay, something happens. I'm going to be really depressed. I'm going to be really sad. Okay, that's fine. You have every right to be as depressed or sad as you want to be. Every right. But if you want to move up the mountain, you want to go get something done, you want to have some success in whatever field you want, you got to limit that time. So get that out of your brain. And then that's up to you to figure out, how do you do it? How do I get that stuff out of my brain? Well, the best thing is you take action and put the good stuff in your brain. So open your portal and let the good stuff in. Things that are going to make you bigger, better, and badder, and stronger than ever before. Things that are going to empower you. And you figure out what that is. It could be what you read. It could be something you listen to. You find a great tape. You find a great motivational speaker, or whatever the thing is for you. When something's good and it triggers you and it makes you feel, you pay attention to this. Pay attention to the stuff that makes you feel inspired and motivated and good or warm or loving or kind or forgiving or whatever those kind of emotions are. Because the quality of your life is the quality of emotions you find yourself in every day, right? It's not the number that's in your bank account. It's not the number of people in your family or life necessarily. All those things can give you good emotions, but you just monitor, what emotions do you feel during the day? How can I spend more time monitoring and being in those emotions every day? And now, personally, I think one of the things you could do is you find a book on tape, find a program or something, and you listen to 30 minutes every day. And you put that stuff, you take action, monitor it, write it down, and put that in your brain every day, whatever it is. Whether you're reading something for 15 minutes, listening to something, whatever it is, minimum 30 minutes. It's like going to the gym. It's like you want to get that muscle strong, right? You go to the gym, you want to get that bicep. I'm flexing my bicep right now, everybody. And
it's very impressive.
Yeah, thank you. So if you want to get this muscle big, how do you do it? Well, you don't just kind of every once in a while bend your arm. No, you got to apply pressure. You got to apply a lot of pressure, and you got to do repetition and work it. So you're focusing, you're putting that in your brain, and then you're just consuming good things. So that's the start. That's all. I'll just leave you with those little nuggets there, but give it a shot. It's kind of amazing.
Friends, that is Bart Johnson. Do you feel hyped? After revisiting that conversation, I feel like I'm ready to hit the gym, go do some weightlifting, check out some books, enrich my mind, and of course, rewatch High School Musical. Get your head in the game. I love the way Bart uses this gift, this role that people still recognize him for 20 years later, to serve his community and even perfect strangers. He spreads a lot of joy, and all of us have something like that, a uniquely specific position of influence where we can bring that kind of love to someone who needs it. Go Wildcats.
The Lisa Show is a production of BYU Radio, hosted by Lisa Valentine Clark. This episode was produced by Becca Hurley-Lung with help from Erica Price, Blake Morse, and Kenny Mears, with post-production by Gracie Davis. A special thanks to today's guest, Bart Johnson, who was on the cast of High School Musical. It's the 20th anniversary of High School Musical this year. A link to his Instagram will be in the show notes. Don't miss out on two other great podcasts from the Lisa Show family, The Council of Moms and Proofread, a new book review podcast to help you read more of what you love. You can find The Council of Moms and Proofread on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for your messages. We read them all, and thanks for listening.
Tired of feeling overwhelmed by conflict in your life? Learn the skills to confidently handle any conflict on BYU Radio's new original podcast, Conflict Coach. Certified mediator Dr. Emily Taylor coaches real people through real conflicts in their lives, from family struggles to work disputes, neighborhood conflicts to in-law disagreements. Each episode of Conflict Coach with Dr. Emily Taylor gives you strategies to find the root of a conflict, identify solutions, and create positive change. Tune into Conflict Coach on BYU Radio or wherever you get your podcasts.